Hi. Welcome to ComeonyespursTV, where we discuss everything Spurs with a bit of a Nigerian bent to it. But hey, today we're going to be previewing the 2022 World Cup taking place in Qatar, the first time we're having a Winter World Cup. And with me today to do that preview is Chuma. Chuma, we'll welcome him up to the show in just a few minutes, a few seconds rather. In the meantime, come on, you Spurs.
Yes.
Welcome to our review of the FIFA World Cup 2022 taking place in Qatar. Like I said earlier on, I've got with me our resident guru, I like to call him, Chuma, in the house. If this is your first time coming up to this channel, this is Common Use Sports TV. Subscribe to our channel, like this episode of this video, and leave your comment in the comment section below. If you need to get notified anytime we go live, please hit the notification bell button at the bottom of your screen. Now we're done with the housekeeping. Let's just say, hey, welcome, Chuma. How are you?
Oh, I'm very good. Start to the World Cup, Qatar, Spurs players. Yeah, it's a new feeling. This is a summer feeling usually. This is a new feeling, a winter World Cup. But
I know. I mean, in our last
things
episode,
change.
we sort of looked at how Spurs have done so far in the season, and we also sort of a little bit of a preview of how many players we got going out to the World Cup, and we came up with 12 players. I'm not sure how many. I mean, teams have that many players going to the World Cup in their main squad, and I think maybe in our squad, probably only one of those players would not be a starter, which was Rodon. Well, and Rodon actually starts for his club that he plays for now, but he won't start for Spurs because he's out on loan. And we have a few other people who are missed out either through injury or because the countries didn't qualify. So yeah, quite a decent contingent if you ask me. Right from the back. If we just have a quick, look and see who are going. We've got Loris, yes, Loris, World Cup skipper for
Yeah,
France,
Captain
World Cup
France.
winner as well. For France, and is almost like is the
Winner.
captain as well,
Yes, indeed.
and the team captain. So it's almost like dead on starter for France. Um, if you look across our back line, we have three people going: Romero, Dyer, and well,
Romero,
actually four.
Dyer, and
And
literally
three
our,
of them.
our original starting three.
Yeah, exactly. Dyer and Davis, and essentially that's a real starting team. So all three of them are going to play a part in the World Cup, which is quite decent if you ask me. It's not a bad place to be, you know. And yeah, they've got quite a few of those, plenty of tasty matches coming up in the World Cup. In terms of interest for Spurs, there are quite a lot of matches and matchups that we'll look at in the course of this episode. But what do you reckon overall, Chuma?
Well, I think a lot of, if we go back to where we started from, which is our foundation being the Nigerian Spurs group. I think a lot of people, all the allegiances at the African countries first, and then to uh, our place of residence, the United Kingdom, next.
Right.
So I think we're favoring a lot of the African nations, and then we look at the European nations. For us, I think it's basically whoever has a Spurs player is our team for the game up until they meet each other, where it will be quite challenging. Like you soon say between Bentancur and, let's say, Heung-Min Son, I think that would be a difficult match to pick a favorite team. But yeah, up until that point, yeah, any team that Spurs players on my team. So
there you go. I mean, the first match in the World Cup this year has what the host nation opening
The
up
host nation first,
proceedings
yeah.
with against Ecuador. Now, on paper, it looked like a win for Ecuador, but hey, we all know that football is not like that. It's a lot of vociferous home
Not,
support, and
it's
that
not.
might actually be like a driver or what's the word? A dampener, depending on a dampener for Ecuador, So,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's
Opening games are so huge. But I think they've changed the format because if unless I'm mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. It used to be the defending champions opening game, right? It used to be.
um no, in actual fact, I think well, I'm not sure, but I think the home team usually
Remember,
open.
I cast my mind back to Argentina, Cameroon, 1990 World Cup. That's how far we go. But I remember the champions always open it up, and then the hosts play the next
Oh
game.
right, okay.
So
I
I
don't
think they've
remember to be
changed the
honest.
format now.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Yeah. So the first big match is well, a big match I say. Probably have where that's in Group A, of course, which takes place on Sunday, the 20th of November. And the next match up would be England against
It's
Iran,
England.
which Monday, which is at 1 p.m. GMT. And there's another tasty match, which is the match between Netherlands and Senegal um, on Monday as well for 4 p.m. Now, for me, I mean, I think the England match is a straight up win for England. I mean, unless barring any banana skins or unforeseens in that match, I think it's an easy win for England. You know, but the
Yeah.
Senegal against Netherlands match is a tough one because Senegal are African champions, right? However, they're missing the talisman, Mane, who's just
Yes.
been unfortunately had to undergo surgery and is missing the World Cup. And unfortunately, that is such a sad story because Mane won African Cup of Nations for the first time. Probably going to the World Cup again for the second time round, but you would have thought that this time around he would want to leave a bit of a legacy for himself, and for his team. But unfortunately, it's not to be. But it's possibly an opportunity for other players to shine. So I guess it's probably a time for a young player to come up and make his mark as well. What do you reckon?
I with the England, I concur with your thoughts regarding England, Iran. I mean, if England can't, with all due respect to Iran as a nation, if England can't dispatch them comfortably, then they don't belong in the World Cup. And that's not slighting Iran. It's just saying, England have so much hype following them. With the Dutch Senegalese match, if Sadio Mane was playing, I would have given Senegal, like, I would have given them much more hope. I still give them hope because it's the opening game and they have nothing. You always have to back teams that have nothing to lose, really. The Dutch have the bigger reputation. They have the more world class or world renowned or recognized players. So it's up to them. And there's a lot of pressure that comes with that because Senegal is the African nation and the underdogs. So we'll see how that goes. I think the Dutch squad is really good. I'll be perfectly honest. This is the first Dutch squad that only because I can't hear you.
So can you hear
The
me?
screen is getting
You were saying about
blurry.
the Dutch squad having a
I
very.
can I can hear I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Yes, I was saying that you were saying about the Dutch squad having
Okay, cool.
sort of a really good squad this time around. You know.
Yes, they have a very good squad, a very competitive young squad, and yeah, Louis Van Gaal is a very experienced man, as we all know. So it'll be interesting. I expect them. I almost expect them to win against Senegal, but I hope the Senegalese players can provide an upset. I think that's potentially the first upset match we're looking at in this World Cup. I think after that match, I think the Senegalese have the potential as underdogs to beat the Dutch.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have quite an interesting matchup in that match. I mean, the next big match in is probably for us that as well as affects Spurs players and general interest for us. Maybe the match between Uruguay and South Korea in Group H, taking place on Thursday the 24th. And the reason is because we got Bentancur against Son potentially. We have Bentancur breaking up play and Son, attacking. That would be an interesting matchup. What do you reckon? And of course, he's also playing.
Very.
So
Yeah, he's what's it? What's his nickname? He's just called the reason. Bentancur is now the reason, not even Ben 10. He's the reason that we're in Champions League. So he's now called the reason online. So the reason against the Golden Boot
I know. So
against the reason. That's a very good matchup.
I love Bentancur actually. I mean, like is an understatement. I love him because he's such a good player. He's played with heart. He's very, very effective, very calm head, and he knows when to go in hard, and he goes in hard almost like velvet and steel gloves. So it's like he's such a classy player, such a classy player. Well, it's a match between England and USA on the 25th. That's a big one on Friday the 25th, 7 p.m. Local time in England. What do you reckon with that one?
Yeah. Well, with that one, I haven't really watched the American team to know, but I know that the American team, they have some very nice young players, but as a squad, I don't think they're as mature enough in terms of how they play it's all down to Gareth Southgate's selection and his formation. I think England should breeze their group. Honestly speaking, if they don't breeze their group, then
Yeah, the big story
it's a
coming out of
travesty.
yeah, the big story coming out of the American squad is the fact that George Weah's son is playing for America. He's in an American squad. He's been named in the American squad. There's two elements to it. A, the fact that his father won European golden boots. He actually won World Player of the
Ballon
Year.
d'Or.
Ballon d'Or. He won the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah,
And
Ballon d'Or. Yeah.
he's also the president of Liberia. And some people say that it seems a tad odd that you got a president of a country and his son is playing for another country. How does that look? Some people say that okay, even if he played for Liberia, that he wouldn't ever get a chance to play in the World Cup because Liberia are very unlikely to qualify for the World Cup ever. And that some people say that he should show a bit of patriotism and play for his country regardless of what their status is in terms of world football. What do you say?
I disagree because I mean for decades now we've had several African players whose parents were either born here or born in diaspora that have played for countries. I mean, look at the French team, for goodness sakes, is dominated by players from literally their heritage is other countries. Why can't we? He was born in America. So he has an American passport. So he should play for whoever he has the passport. Those are the rules. And he's played in the junior teams of America as well. So why didn't they complain when he was paying his dues? And it's not like he walked into the senior side. He's actually played for the under 21s and the under 19s, if I'm not mistaken. He's gone to a junior tournament with them, Timothy Weah, and he played, because he's played in France for PSG and Lille. He's not like it's today. So I find it very, it's just because his dad's the president. But I mean, look at all the things happening. Thiago and Rafinha, the Brazilian, the sons of Mazinho. One plays for Spain, one plays for Brazil. Nobody says anything to them
Wow,
because it's an African nation.
Well, I think one of the reasons is because his father is president. If he wasn't president, it would be a different matter. So I guess that's why the matter is sort of like highlighted, if you like. I mean, I think the other match is Croatia against Morocco. The African interest there is in Morocco. Croatia, we have Perisic who plays for us. So there you go. That's on Wednesday, the 23rd of November. That's going to be a good one. Croatia play very, very solid. Morocco free attacking, but they got really good defense as well. So that would be interesting. But I mean, people would probably tip Croatia to come out tops in that one, given their pedigree. The next match up,
France versus Denmark on a Saturday. I think that's a Spurs match as well. Lloris against Højbjerg,
there you go.
our ex Christian Eriksen.
Oh, there you go. That's fantastic. Yeah, in fact, when we mentioned earlier on about what's the word? Um, who were we talking about when we talked about yes, we're talking about Netherlands, right? I was going to say that we had
Yes.
X there as well, Mr. Begwine, you know, who's
Oh, indeed.
you know,
Forgot him.
he's only going to yes, and Denmark and France. That's Group D match 26th of November. That's a big one as well. Yeah, we have Højbjerg and of course Eriksen against Mr. Lloris. You know, that's an interesting matchup. We other match of interest is South Korea and Ghana. I mean, South Korea and Ghana for us is
oh yes,
Partey against Son, eh?
Partey against Son. Arsenal
That's
Spurs.
the NLD of the World Cup.
Yes, you know, and it's. I think Ghana will be a very interesting proposition because even qualifying and knocking us, our beloved Nigeria, out of our beloved Nigeria for the tournament, they weren't particularly impressive. They did not do anything great. They were not like technically or tactically ahead of Nigeria that much. I think both were quite poor teams, and one of the better of the poor teams made it in,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak. Ghana hasn't really done anything. I think they were on a recruitment drive to get a lot of young European-based players. They've gotten a couple. Some haven't fully committed yet. I think Edin Ketia of Arsenal and the rest, they haven't really like decided what they want to do. But they have a couple of players. So they're okay, but I haven't seen anything to make me think that, they are spectacular. South Korea, on the other hand, I think the thing about those South Koreans, they're like their captain, Son. Son is they're just a bundle of energy, those people, as players. They're just running everywhere, they can press, so it's going to be a very interesting match. I can't even think of a scoreline. I just think it's going to be interesting.
The other interesting matchup, which for me is interesting for a number of reasons, we have Croatia and Belgium, right? We have Perisic, who plays for us now. We have our ex, Mr. Modric, who seems like he's timeless, you know. And okay, we don't have current players for us who currently play for Belgium, but who play for us, who play for Belgium. But we had our good old Alderweireld,
Toby and Jan.
Toby and Jan Vertonghen. I'm not sure if Chadley is in the squad, but Chadley also features a lot for Belgium, you know. But yeah, I mean that's going to be a good matchup as well, you know. They have a good squad. One of they're tipping them to win the match. I mean, because Belgium are a very very strong side. For many years they were number one, and like they had all these folks, De Bruyne, Lukaku. You know, they have
I heard somebody say Belgium are like the Spurs of international football. That's what.
No, I think they're a notch higher, if you like, because actually with so such a bunch of talented players.
Yeah, but their mentalities actually was let them down.
Yeah.
So I think mentally there's something missing.
And
something
so yeah, we'll see how that pans out. The big one from an African perspective is the Cameroon versus Brazil in Group G. One of the final matches in that round of matches. Yeah, so that takes place at 7 p.m. on Friday, 2nd of December. So that's a good one. Let's see how that pans out. You know, yeah. I mean that's probably most of what we will be doing over the course of the World Cup, and sports interest obviously lies across many nations. So I mean, as much as possible, we'll bring you coverage, or I mean, talk about a review of, maybe we'll do a weekly review over the course of the matches. But we'll play it by ear. Keep an eye out and watch this space. Chuma, do you have anything to add as a bit of a roundup for this?
No, I just think it's going to be an interesting World Cup. Because of how it's been scheduled, um, I, you still have your favorites being, Brazil, France, sort of Argentina, the teams who have the Germany, the teams that have the DNA
Yeah, I mean,
for
talking
winning.
of that, talking of which, we're gonna before we close up, obviously gonna think about or talk about who would win it. You know, your likely candidates. Let's have your view on who will win it. I mean, you started talking about it. Go ahead.
I'm not. I don't have a clear favorite. I would just say, in terms of squad balance, from what I've seen, the French and the Argentines, uh, they have their squads look really well balanced, and they're enjoying playing together. I think Messi has finally found a striker. I've always felt, with much respect to Gonzalo Higuain, who I really loved. I loved Higuain, as a striker. He always let Messi down, in my opinion, in the international. Now, Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan is on fire, and
Mm.
he blends very well with Messi, and Messi is enjoying pulling the strings. Now, Messi is no longer the attacking focus. He's now more midfield, attacking midfield, like he is for PSG. It's a much better thing. France, I think, have a very lethal front line. You know, veteran experience in Giroud. Um, they still have Benzema, who is the current reigning Ballon d'Or. You have Giroud as his deputy. You have the mercurial Mbappe on the side. Their midfield is young, very dynamic. Even without Kante, they have these two boys who are at Real Madrid. It's they have I think they have a very good squad. So I'm looking at the two of them, and any team that sort of upsets them now becomes, in my opinion, the favorites. But I can't pick between France and Argentina right now. Those are my two. I may be proved wrong. What about you?
Good question. I think I'm a Brazil fan. I've always loved Brazil, like forever. You know, and I know that the last few times they've been in discipline, they haven't quite got their act together in terms of that winning mentality. And Neymar being, I call him the petulant little lad that he is, you know. But they've got bundles of skill, bundles of skill. I mean, I don't know who makes the choice in that team, as in who does team selection. Whoever has that has a big headache on his hands, you know. And it's a lovely headache to have because of the squad he's got to choose from, you know. And is if he gets the balance right, I think they will give any team a really really good game. So for me, I mean, Brazil for me they're my favorite. So I guess I mean I'll go for Brazil winning.
That's fair.
You know. Germany haven't been fine on all cylinders lately. I mean, they seem to be a big shadow of themselves. Kind of just managed to scrape through to qualify. Well, not scrape through, but hey.
Oh yeah, but those are the teams you fear.
Yes, but they always sort of they're like tournament experts, if you like. They know how
There and
to pick,
thereabouts, yes.
pick at the key moments in tournaments. So you can never rule out Germans. You can never rule them out. You know.
Never rule them out,
Italy
indeed,
aren't there this
until
time
they are
around. You
knocked
know,
out.
Italy they had not as well, but they're not there this time around. So hey, but like I said, France are
There you
also
go.
a very very solid prospect. You know, even though they haven't got Pogba, they haven't got Kante, but they still got quite a bunch of talented lads in that team, and who are going to give any team plenty to chew on. Yeah, I mean, outsiders, England. I know there's local what's the word? Hope. You know, Mr. Gamble. You know, thinks that you
No, shout out to Mr. Gamble, who believes it's coming home, but then he's hedged his bet with Senegal. Much respect to him, because he's been
absolutely.
pushing the Senegalese agenda for a while, and
Out of
he loves their
interest,
squad, he loves their coach.
you know, we've never really had any outside team of the big nations, you know, actually cause a bit of a big upset to get to the final. I think the closest we got was Ghana against was it Uruguay? I can't remember which team they played against to get to the quarterfinal. They played at the quarterfinal to get to the semifinal, and they lost some penalties
Yes,
after that.
and they lost. Yes, it was
You know,
yes.
but that was the closest any African team came to well,
The
any of the
closest,
outsider teams
yes.
came to get into the last four. You know, that would have been a big performance if I mean that would have been a big result if that had happened. But hey, Now, of all the teams that are like African teams this time around, which of those would you tip for to go far, and which of them will go the farthest in your view?
Well, you look at who's qualified. I think it's what Senegal, Morocco, Ghana, and Cameroon.
Hmm?
Cameroonians their group is a bit, it's a bit different. It's what Serbia, Switzerland, and Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone and their mom is backing the Brazilians to get there. But the Serbians have, they have Mitrovic, they have Sergej Milinkovic of Lazio. Have very good players, and I think they want to prove a point with this World Cup. So I don't know how the Cameroonians. I'm a guy who I respect Cameroonian football. I think they have very good players. I think of all the francophone countries or the former French colonized nations, they're the ones that have really taken advantage of getting their players from France. They've really given they've gone and gotten a lot of young players back from France that France would have played. I don't know what their strengths are really, and I'm only looking at Senegal and Morocco. Morocco, I think have I don't know. I think Morocco are very balanced. They have very, very good players. No one's really making any noise about them. But for me, still Senegal. For me, I still think if Senegal can underdog their way out of their group, they stand a very, 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 very good chance. Who's in their group? Senegal have Ecuador, Holland, and Qatar.
Yeah. So
And
in
I
theory,
think I think I think I think they can pull off two wins and a loss to the Dutch. I think it's very possible for me that they can do that. Senegal, I think they are good enough to get out of their group, and if they do, we never know where they're going to go to. I think Senegal for me of all the African nations, I think Senegal.
okay. I think I'll go with that as well. I mean, I'm not sure I have confidence in Ghana for that. I mean, they haven't sort of shown anything to suggest that they can do much in terms of getting far in the competition. And it's not like they have any star player. Well, I got Thomas Partey, who's been quite outstanding this season. But I mean, the Ayew brother, Jordan Ayew, and what's the other Ayew brother's name? I can't remember his first name.
Andre,
Andre,
I've
yeah,
forgotten
Andre
the
and
second
Jordan, right?
brother's name.
Yeah, so yeah, those are
Yeah,
two main strikers that they have. I'm not sure they're going to be too much of a threat to a lot of the teams this time around, but we'll see. I mean, it will be interesting, but plenty of excitement to look forward to, and a lot of sports activity and interest in the matches. I'm very, very much looking forward to all of the matchups. I'm sure that you are as well, but we're always happy to feature sports players and as well as the African players in this competition. And stay with us and tune in to all of our episodes during this break. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. In the meantime, come on, you Spurs!
come on, you Spurs.